Hey guys, welcome to Krunker Map Making Tips and Tricks episode 10. In this episode we're going to be going over how to make a nice fire effect using particles. Anyway, let's see how it looks. So as you guys can see, here we've got a nice sort of looking, fire particle effect. Of course this would look better with a light cone on the ground, making it look like it's lighting up the area, but this video is mainly just about the particle effect. Anyways, let's see how this is made. Now the key part to having good fire effect using particles is the different stages of the fire. You start out with your very bright white stage at the bottom, then you move to a sort of lighter yellow, then to a sort of orangey red, and then you have your smoke layer which goes over it all. Then all of these combine together to make a really nice fire effect. Now let's see how we can make it step by step. First thing you're going to want to do is to go to Object up here in the top left of the toolbar, go down to Tools, and then to Particles, which is near the top. Now click that to spawn in some particles. Now take your particle over to wherever you want your particles to be, and resize it to the shape of your general fire. Now for our first layer that is going to be white, we want to actually move it slightly below the ground level so that when the particles spawn in, we can't actually see it happening. Then what you're going to want to do is set it to Ember on the right under Particle Settings, under Texture, the Blending to Additive, and then the count, depending on the size of it, should be pretty big. So for this size we want something around 22. But if it was to be, let's say, this big, we'd probably want something around 50. But in this case, we're going relatively small, so we're just going to leave it as, 21 in this case. After you've done this, you're going to want to set the size to around 4. The scale doesn't really matter, so you can leave that at 0. And now for the movement, since we want this to go upwards, we're going to set the gravity to around -2. Now that's our first layer done. Now you want to duplicate this by using Shift-R. Now that you've duplicated this, move it up slightly so that it's just a teeny bit off the ground, and make it so that it's only slightly smaller than the size of the first layer. Now we're going to want to set this to a sort of yellow color. I like mine to be sort of verging on orange but still quite yellow. Now since this layer is actually moving a bit faster than our white layer, we're going to set the gravity to -4. Now duplicate this again and move it up slightly. You're going to want to make this a quite red color, but not super overpowering. So I like to have mine sort of in the middle of orange and red, like this. Leave the gravity at -4. Now what we can do here is change up the gravity just slightly to add some more variation. So let's make it -3.7. Last but not least, it's time to do the smoke. So what we're going to want to do is just duplicate any one of these. We're just going to use this one. Move it so that it's just overlapping all of these and is the same size as the first layer, the white layer, and overlaps the white layer slightly. And make it so that it goes up quite a decent bit above it. Make the color a very dark grey. Around here is usually pretty good. Set the texture to fog, and the blending to none. Set the count to around 50 for this size. If it's bigger, you can double or triple the amount. Set the size to around 6. And set the gravity to -1.7. This is the minimum gravity can be before it just stops moving at all. After you've done this, your fire should be ready to go, but it may require some tweaking. Let's give it a test. So as you can see, here we've got our fire. It looks lovely, it looks very fiery. The only touch up we could add is add a light cone on the ground to make it look like it's actually lighting up the area. So let's just do that now to quickly give it a shot. To add a light cone, go to Object, Basic, and then Light Cone. After you've spawned it in, move it over to where your fire is, turn on full cone, move it underneath where your fire is, and make it completely flat. Raise it slightly above the floor like so. Now since this is for fire, we're going to make it a sort of reddy orange color. Now let's give it another test. As you can see, now the fire looks like it's lighting up the area slightly, and it looks pretty good. Anyways guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. It's been quite a while since I made a video due to school being pretty insane right now, but I'd really appreciate it if you guys keep up the support. Anyways, have a good one. I'll see you next time.